one rule of information architecture is experience design, and so part of what I'm trying to do with all of this is figure out a way to use like YouTube, my own images, and these points of reference to create like learning and development and points of reference experiences, and also to provide cognitive tools for people to both look at the world in different ways and that like create tools that people can use to basically school other people who they have problems with. And so a lot of times this happens where you have somebody who doesn't want to preach to another person, but it's like they have major issues with like that person's behavior, or there's an interaction issue or whatever, and it puts everybody in a difficult situation. And often like everybody involved in the situation, if they could, would go preaching at each other. But then it's like people understand that like the way each person looks at the world is somewhat about them and their own kind of style. So this gets into like all these questions, and questions are often dramatized by such videos as this one, hospitalist versus ER medical presentation. So this is an interaction similar to the various videos that have been done that show interactions between like designers and clients, and financial advisors and clients, and in this case it's a hospital doctor versus an ER doctor, and the ER doctor is trying to push this patient off onto the hospitalist, but they're both full of like basically excuses and overloaded with things to do of different priority levels. And so this gets into this run on my time thing where it's like it's as if I'm like, well, whatever my situation is, it's like I'm torn between how to deal with different things. And it's like other people could say all of this is a big excuse for not dealing with whatever they want me to deal with, but I'm trying to prioritize and juggle, and I'm also keep other people's overall interests in mind on some level, and try to make up for all the problems I've caused people at different times, like being like finding some kind of way, like maybe one day to like make up for certain things in my life. So it's like all the web errors that are still outstanding and hanging over me, and that I need to try to find a way to fix. And there are all these trade-offs that keep me like on this razor's edge, like between different things, including just saying no, I can't do it, or yes, I can do it, I'm going to focus on it now, and it's like there's this whole kind of web of like decision trade-offs that are just like it's almost like they're designed to be complicated, and yet I'm trying to dig through all of this and create something overall that's going to dig me out of the situation, which is comedy content, a production of some kind, and information for people, and mental tools, something. So it's like a lot of people are in constrained situations. Like if you're in an ER and you're dealing with like patients coming in, or you're on the battlefield and you're trying to like deal with the situation there, or you're at home and you're trying to deal with like your family members or roommates, and you've got clients calling you, and like you're trying to deal with it all. Whatever the situation, it's like, and maybe you're trying to sort through what job to get and all these questions. So there's this thing called Memento, this movie, and it's like based on the short story by Jonathan Nolan, and I have a screen cap of that, and it's called What Like a Bullet Can Undeceive. So there's a sense in which it's like you wake up each day, or I wake up each day, and I try to figure out what to do in a world gone mad, and like with like chaos all around me, but like I do have like a lot of understanding of points of reference in the world that provide sort of stability in things, and yet there's a huge amount of conflict in me over how to proceed with various elements at different times. And so there's also, well, there's this whole concept of Doctors Without Borders, and there's this book Hope in Hell based on what they do. And it's, I mean, part of what I'm trying to do is look for parallels between my situation and situations other people might face wherever in the world they might be. And it's like, again, it's like there are a lot of parallels that I think people don't recognize between kind of the types of trade-offs and situations you could find yourself faced with, whether it's on a battlefield, in an emergency room, or trying to sort through things at home. And it's like, a number of songs use like metaphors, or even like if you're trying to give a speech or a political debate or whatever, and it's like, or figure out intelligence analysis of like what somebody's trying to do or what they're trying to figure out or whatever. And I'm basically interested in taking elements of reality, including like photographs and video of myself and others, and other points of reference in the news and statistics and so on, and basically using them to kind of implicitly tell a story or create a sort of a political cartoon, but without a specific political intention so much. But I mean, a major goal, what I'm trying to do is just to like help others to see like certain elements of like how I process information and decisions, and why like I end up like acting as I do or talking about the stuff I do, and in the situations that I end up in. And so and I think that by using my situations as examples, it could help other people kind of recognize certain things about their own lives or other people's lives where maybe they didn't quite recognize what was happening. And then sometimes it's like there's nothing you can do, or you can, but it's like it's complicated, but at least beginning to provide like a language and points of reference to discuss some of these communication gaps and understanding gaps is like part of the challenge here. So right, so this is me yesterday deliberating, and I was struggling, dealing with mental pressure, like neurophysical conflict, and trying to sort through all these like facts of the situation and trade-offs and constraints and implications of various things in the context of living my life in this very day-to-day manner, even though there's a lot of the context that I can be relatively certain of, but there are also uncertainties, and things could play out in different ways. I can make different decisions, other people could make different decisions, and so on. So now, part of my approach here is I'm trying to tie my story and my situation and my web presence in with certain other YouTube channels and even television shows, like at least in the sense of like what sorts of things are discussed and so on. So below this deliberation photo from yesterday, I have this snippet I've included on a number of my layouts called A Run on My Time, which is basically based on this situation where it was at in August, which bears parallels to the present situation, where in particular I reference this concept of catalog of actions, this whole string of words associated with like panic, terror, emergency, urgent, vital, and it's like, and then I have this concept of like at one moment in time, like purchase a trip to the bathroom, purchase a trip to the grocery store, purchase an hour putting trash in a trash bag, purchase 10 minutes to decide how to reply to an outraged expectation. And it kind of, and I have this concept of run on my time and outraged client queue. So it got to this point where I just could not meet the obligations that I had to different people and the expectations. And it's like in some, it got to this point where, I mean, there are different ways to like cope with a situation and manage a situation, but in terms of how I think about the world in this like sort of like global integrated way, it's like some people have like journal comics where they post like daily comics of their life or whatever, and I'm trying to figure out, and some people post vlogs and so on, and some people do like political cartoons or whatever. I'm interested in kind of merging elements of these, and also some people have like video resumes or whatever, and I'm also interested in kind of using this technique to like document elements of my life.